You're listening to the 123 show with me, Noreen Mayer. Let's turn to our first topic of today. We're talking about bees. Now, we've all heard about the benefits of honey, but how much of the process of beekeeping do you know about? Joining us in the studio, we have brothers Morris Chair and also Donald Chair from For Me Honey to tell us a little bit more about the science and also the beekeeping business. Welcome to the program and thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Maybe if I can start off with you first, Morris. Tell us a little bit more about For Me Honey.
So For Me Honey is a brand that originated in Hong Kong, and we started our business at 2015, and we produce our own local harvest honey in Chinmun. So what we call the bee land, because they owned it, not us. And in the meantime, that we had granted 2 certificates that that is proven that our environment and the surrounding are suitable for beekeeping. And firstly, we didn't detect any heavy metals, and the second one would be we didn't feed them with any sugar syrup, which ensure that it is a pure and raw honey, and which I can tell is quite uncommon among all types of honey products in Hong Kong. And furthermore, we invested like 13 different types of infused honey. For instance, the dried lemon and ginger, and also with our winter honey or turmeric and cinnamon, that with our winter honey as well. So which gives a totally different experience among honey, and we wanted more than just honey, more than just sweetness and flowering taste.
Why did you want to enter the beekeeping business?
It's actually my dad is the one who is holding all the business types and the beekeeping perspective, but we're just acting as an assistant to follow up stuff and to prevent the bees from swarming or stuff.
Yeah,
Take care of it.
Yeah, I want to know more about, and I'm sure our listeners would want to know a little bit more about the process of beekeeping as well. It's not easy. I've heard that they well, if they sting you, they die, and also so they don't really want to sting you, but sometimes they want to protect themselves. So how do you go about getting the honey from? Can you tell us a little bit more about the process of beekeeping?
Oh, it's actually quite complicated, but simply speaking would be each hive have a bee queen to coordinate all the working bees to do their own jobs. Like for instance, working bees can be identified as like maybe up to 5 characteristics. Nursing bees, which are taking care of the queen bees, and there's also cleaner, that what we call for like cleaning up the hive, to preventing from moldies or stuff. The other would be the one who is going to search the food supply. That's the most important job, of course. And yes.
Yeah. Sorry, go on, Donald.
Yeah, and I would say, and when it's dangerous, it hurts. So we got different kinds of protective clothes, in which is keep us safe from the stings, and also we got different kinds of tools to to get the honey from their home.
Can you describe the protective clothing? It's not one of those sort of full armor suits, or do you just wear the thick gloves? What does it look like?
Sometimes we do have the whole protection suit, like from our toes to the top of our head, and but it's just using during the flowering season, because like they are very sensitive to our actions, because like we're stolen their honey, we're stolen their storage for the winter or spring seasons. So they would rather more aggressive to sting us through the clothes. Like we can count maybe up to 30 to 40 stings just around our head, because like they can sense us through air motions
and the heat
or
as well.
So.
Okay. Have you ever been stung by a bee? I'm sure.
Yeah, we
do.
We definitely.
We've stung like once, just under the lips,
Ouch!
and it's more than like a sauce, like a
Like
German
sausage lips.
on the lips.
Oh my goodness. So what happens when they sting you then? What do you do immediately? You still have to get the honey. Do you...
We firstly we will just take out the sting, and we will put the honey on it, and it helps for anti-inflammatory, so it's quite amazing.
Okay, I've heard also that you can become immune to their venom. So if they sting you enough times, you no longer have a reaction. Is that true?
I've never tried it before, but like I've stung just every time, maybe once every time. So probably not happening to us.
Okay, well that's very lucky indeed. So talk us through the process of getting the honey then. I mean, how long does it take for them to make the honey to the point where you can then take the honey from them? And do you leave a little bit for them also? I mean, you can't take them all.
I think we have to remain some of the honey for them, so we can still keep our bees strong enough to stay from the winter, because winter is quite cold, and
especially this winter.
Yeah, this winter is unpredictable. So like sometimes it's 16 or sometimes it's 9 degrees. So I would say if we leave some honey left in honey creams, so that the honey can stay strong, and then they can stay like live in a group, and they can keep themselves warm, preventing the cold weather.
Donald, how do you go about the balance between taking enough so that you can sell and then leaving them enough? How do you judge how much to leave them?
I'll say we can take half of the honey from their homes, and we can keep half of them for their daily lives, so that we can keep the balance between our harvest and then their life, so that we can get more and more while in spring honey or in our winter honey as well.
Yeah. Sorry if this is a stupid question. I'm just so new to this whole beekeeping business. But is there a time, a season where they make the most honey, when they're most productive, or because they have to sustain themselves, they're pretty hardworking? We've all heard how hardworking bees are. There's a phrase in Chinese also. Or is it quite the same amount throughout the year?
Yeah, it's quite. There's only 2 seasons that in Hong Kong could be harvesting honey. Because the first one would be in the spring seasons, which we identify as the longan and lychee flowers. Is from the ivy. It is from those flowers. That's what we call the spring honey. And the other one would be the winter honey, which is harvesting from the ivy tree flowers. That is a local growth tree in Hong Kong. So this is that is the 2 main types of honey that we can harvest through the year.
Okay, and winter honey, when do you start to harvest that then?
It's around November.
November to September.
Okay, so it's harvesting for winter, but it's actually more like autumn honey.
Yeah, because like the flower is blooming from September to until July or something. So we will start harvesting our honey in November until July after the flower is gone.
Yeah. Forgive me, but is there a big difference in taste between the two? Because I'm just used to just buying honey from the supermarket, or I mean, there are some varying degrees of taste, but is there a big difference between the spring honey and the winter honey?
Yeah, I would say there's a big difference between 2 kinds of honeys. So in spring honey, like we say, is from the longan and lychee trees, and it tastes more fruity, in which they taste sweet, and then I think it's suitable for like making cakes or making cookies. And then we got winter honeys which made from ivy trees. They taste fresh, and they have one medical use, which if they got throat damage, we can eat some of them and drink some waters, which prevent our inflammatory. So I would say both are in different tastes. It depends on your taste.
Okay, but winter honey is sort of more soothing, good for sore throats.
Yeah, for throat and trachea, and helps for anti-inflammatory.